not the counterpunch. Telling him not to 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 counterpunch.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable They are not picking our calls. They made up their mind.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history,
We are one people, all of us.
leaders, politics.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel and I'm very happy to be here this morning to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving around the world of sports. Top one out menu this morning, we have a whole lot for you. Sharona Corey is set for World Table Tennis contender in home soil. And coming in from tennis, 3 Brightoners is the French Open qualifying round. And in football, Argentine manager pathways with Chelsea. This and many more will be yours after the short timeout. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Telling him not to counterpunch.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara,
Welcome back. It's the Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and of course we have a lot for you this morning, like I said, and I'll be starting the show with basketball this morning as River Supers, of course, are intensifying preparation ahead of their playoff encounter this weekend against AS Douanes of Senegal. Ahead of the 2024 African Basketball League playoff, the center back of Nigeria's River Supers, Victor Anthony Koko, has pointed out that defense wins championship games and advised the team to work on it. The Nigerian champion will serve all for their campaign in the playoff with a classification game against AS Douanes of Senegal, and Koko believe they must work on their defense. Koko also explained that after securing the 4th win in the Basketball African League playoff in Dakar, their mind shifted to having already qualified, which affected their performance in the last 2 games. River Supers will commence their series in a 3rd game against AS Douanes of Senegal, and it promises to be an exciting one. We look forward to see how this one, of course, will go down. It's been an impressive ride so far for the Kingsmen since They went down to Senegal for the Sahara Conference. They actually put up a very, very impressive performance, and of course were able to seal the ticket to the playoff. And now they're in the playoff and looking very much optimistic of getting something huge, from this particular one. They'll be facing AS Douanes of Senegal this weekend. They've actually met AS Douanes in the Sahara Conference. They played twice. River Supers was able to win one and lost one against AS Douanes. And that's going to be another opportunity for them to see how they can, put up another impressive performance, for themselves this time around. It promises to be an impressive one, and the players as well on ground, they've been very, very instrumental. The likes of Divine aka Kevin Omayo, Wee Perry, John Wickens. These are players that have been very, very fantastic for the River Super side, and we hope that they continue this impressive performance. The captain of the side, talking about the man who talked about the defense, Victor Koko, is a defender as well on the team, and he's also, has been very, very optimistic and also very, very fantastic in the success River Supers has experienced so far in the Basketball African League. And we hope that, they continue with this impressive performance going forward this time around against AS Douanes once again. This is going to be the third time River Supers, of course, will be playing against AS Douanes in this competition. And we'll see how far they'll be able to go from here. Away from that, let's take a look at tennis. As for the second consecutive year, the World Table Tennis Center will be taking place in Lagos with Nigeria International Aruna Quadri headlining the players that will participate in the competition. According to the statement from the organizers, Quadri is slated to make his first Contender Series appearance on home soil next month in Lagos. Another notable Nigerian player in the men's single is world number 96, Motayo Olajide, who also just secured a place at the Paris Olympic Games. In the female category, Edem Effiong, Fatima Bello, Hope Odoka, and Ojoke Ojumo are the top Nigerian stars in the category. At least 38 Nigerians will be in contention for the $80,000 prize money placed on the tournament. And this promises to be an exciting one, of course, and must give kudos, of course, to Lagos for putting up this one as well for the second time. The second consecutive time Lagos will be hosting this competition, and if you ask me, it means a lot, for Lagos. It means they have the best of facilities. It means they've done a lot in terms of organizing this particular competition, and for me, I think that's why the World Table Tennis, of course, is giving them this go ahead to host the tournament once again. It's been an impressive ride, if you ask me, for Lagos in terms of hosting this particular one, and it's a huge one for Nigeria when it has to do with table tennis. It means, of course, there have been an improvement in terms of facilities, when it has to do with table tennis in the country. And for me, I suggest shouldn't be just Lagos alone. We should also see other states putting up facilities like this in order for me to see table tennis competition being hosted all around the country, and that, of course, will be something very huge, as it says. But it will be an impressive outing for some of those players. We told you Aruna Quadri will be headlining this one, as well as the likes of Effiong, Fatima Bello, and the rest of them. And we hope to see them coming out, in flying colors this time around and putting up some impressive performance for themselves. But let's stay away from table tennis down here in Nigeria, as we'll take a look at long tennis. Andy Murray missed the opportunity to play long-time rival Novak Djokovic as Yannick Hanfmann. Yes, the man Yannick Hanfmann quickly wrap up victory against the Brighton in the Geneva Open first round. Former world number one Murray was trailing 7-5, 4-1 yesterday, Monday, when play was suspended because of a bizarre weather condition. The 37-year-old Scot was unable to turn around the match when it resumed on Tuesday, as Germany's Hanfmann twice held serve to complete victory and now plays world number one Djokovic in the second round. There was also defeats in Geneva for Jack Draper with the 8th seed and world number 40, losing 7-6-6-1 to Czech Thomas Maček. Wildcard Murray was playing his first ATP Tour level match since rupturing ankle ligaments at the Miami Open in March. Ranked 75th in the world, he is set to play at the French Open next week for what is expected to be the final time. The second major of the season starts on the 26th of May, and that's the French Open. We look forward to see how this one, of course, will go down. But so unfortunate for the man and the Murray, being taken out down there by Yannick Hoffmann at this point in time. He was supposed, of course, to play the man Djokovic in this particular one, but he's been ousted as, of course, talk about Andy Murray. He's been trying, of course, to put himself, in the limelight, after surgery some years ago, but his best, has not really been seen. It has to do with his tennis career. Does he still have time, and does he have what it takes, to be able to outclass the best, on the court? Talking about the French Open that will be coming up, we'll see how far, it goes for the man. We hope that this particular one will be, a blessing for him going down to the French Open. But let's stay away from that as we take a look at other matters revolving around the world of tennis. Heather Waxen was one of 3 Brightons to lose in the first round of a French Open qualifying yesterday. World number 156 Waxen lost 6-3, 5-7, 6-1 to Croatia's 214th ranked Anthony Rosic. In the men's tournament, Ryan Peniston fell 6-1, 6-7, 6-2 to American second seed Wolf. Oliver Crawford, who switched nationality to Britain from the United States in January, was beaten 6-7, 6-4, 6-2 by Le 2 of Australia. The defeat means Billy Harris is the sole Brighton remaining in the qualifying for the clay courts Grand Slam, which begins in Paris on Sunday. Now Harris will face France Manuel Guionnet in the second round today, and we'll see how far that one, of course, will go. It promises to be an exciting one. Of course, all of this, ATP tournaments, all of this qualifying tournaments we've seen at this point in time is for the big one. The French Open will be coming up, of course, in a few days' time, and I tell you, it's really getting interesting. We're going to see the best of the best, of course, on the courts. Talk about Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, of course, who has not been that fantastic since he made a return, from injury, will also be in this one. Don't forget, this is, his best, tournament, and we'll see how far the man will be able to go this time. Of course, he said this might be his last season in his tennis career, and I think he's also planning and looking forward, to finish very well this time around. We'll see the likes of Andy Murray, of course, who's also looking very much optimistic, and the rest of the players in the ATP. Talk about the likes of Yannick Sinner, who has been very instrumental as well, this season. You can't take away Stefanos Tsitsipas, Daniil Medvedev, Carlos Alcaraz as well. These are players who should be looking forward to see the coming French Open. And talk about the female category as well. They'll have the likes of Iga Swiatek, who has been very dominant this time around, and as well Arina Sabalenka. You can also take away the likes of Kukugov, who has also been a little bit impressive so far this season. Naomi Osaka is one lady that we should be looking forward to see as well in the French Open. So it promises to be an exciting one, and the players are already getting ready for the big one that will be coming up, talking about the French Open. And I tell you, it promises to be an exciting one. We'll just have to keep our fingers crossed and see if we'll get this one. Can Rafael Nadal, the man, of course, who is known for his prowess in this particular tournament, can he take, center stage and do the needful, just like I've always seen from him all this time? So it promises to be an exciting one. Let's just see how it goes. But at this point, we'll take a short break, and when we'll come back from this break, we'll bring you the latest from the beautiful world of football. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all your updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You're a human
On the point of So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history, natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today. Every day, our lives are changed by history,
We are one people, all of us.
leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains through the on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Oh! Get up.
Yeah, welcome back. That's the Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, it's time to wait for me to bring you all the matters revolving around the water sports this morning. But joining me this morning to take a look at some issues in the water sports is Airport Temple. Good morning to you and welcome to Sports Talk.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
All right, we just talked about River Supers preparation ahead of the playoff in Kigali, Rwanda, and the captain of the team, Victor Koko, is talking tough, and he's saying that the fans, win you games. Asking the team to brace up when it has to do with defense ahead of the playoff encounter against AS Douanes. What do you make of this one coming from Victor Koko?
I think basically what he's saying is that if you judge the 6 games they played, at the playoffs in Dakar, you discover that the first 3 games they won was as a result of their defensive acumen. Prior to that encounter, you also discover that part of what they did was focus more on defense. When they did their tour to Port Harcourt, they spoke about the defensive trajectories and what they intend to achieve. So more of the effort was to, putting more on the defense, because defense wins you game. And Ogo Daoud, who the coach of the side, knows clearly that if you have a good defensive framework and template, that gives you, a good firepower. If you look at what they've done with Perry, is a very good guard. The likes of Kevin Amayo. But these players need to also come back to help the defense. And if you put what David Eke and all the players have been doing, when they go forward, they know that they have to come back to also help out. And so they saw it clearly in the first 2 other games that they played against AS Douanes and when they lost against US Monastir, that what has trampled or what has traversed was as a result of poor defensive. Because when you score and you are also being conceding, those baskets, it's kind of very difficult for you to really move on. And point margin can be very, very slight. So if you look at the loss against AS Douanes and the point margin against APRO, it will just show that defensively they need a lot of work to be done. And so for this classification game against AS Douanes this weekend, they have to be very defensive minded if they must get something, because he who wins first has the upper hand and the morale to move into the other series, of this contention.
All right, let's say it goes for River Supers. We hope that they will breeze up for this particular. But let's talk football at the moment in a decisive matchup for both sides. Debutant Heartland Queens square up against Edo Queens in the last game of March Day 3 for the 2024 Nigerian Women Football League Super 6 at the Samson Siasia Stadium, Unigua, Bayelsa State today. Obi Ogbala's Heartland Queens experiencing a slow start in their maiden Super 6 campaign, having secured only 1 point from their first 2 games. They opened with a goalless draw against Natural Amazons, followed by 2 goals to nil loss to Confluence Queens on Monday. On the other hand, Moses Adaku's Edo began the tournament strongly with a commanding 5-1 victory over Confluence Queens. However, they faced setback with a 2-1 defeat to South rivals Rivers Angels, affecting their momentum in the league title race. It's been an impressive ride. Talking about the Super 6 in the Nigerian Football League. What do you make of the performance and the result so far in this one?
Yeah, I think the result, yeah, it has gone expectedly. If you look at the way things have gone, you know for sure that a lot of the best teams obviously qualified, for the playoffs. And take that for granted with the way we have seen, Edo Queens, who have been, urged as one of the title contenders in this particular, even if they've had, they came second best, in Group B, as to Rivers United, as to Rivers Angel, I beg your pardon. You think that they always have that firepower. They represented Nigeria once at the CAF Women's Champions League, so that experience is always there. And when you have them, you think that everything is not going to be as rosy as expected for their opponents, and that was what clearly we saw. But against Conference Queen, they were able to get a better hands, and of course, the man who is the gaffer there knows what he wants, and he goes about doing it in such a way. They're one of the most motivated side in the league, so every time you expect that they will be in the contention, for the Nigerian Premier Football League trophy. Also, Bayelsa Queens have also been very glorious. You look at the way they're going about the season, they look like a team that really want to get something. Nasarawa Amazons are another side. Before they jetted down to Bayelsa, the deputy governor really motivated them and told them to go all out to get something. Amazons have been very fantastic in the first phase of the competition. No surprises why they qualified for the playoffs, and they want to get something in this particular one. So everything is at stake this morning. 11 and 9. We get to see Rivers Angels get to, after winning against the Edo Queens, they have to pair up. And for Rivers Angels, it's about the 2 million naira, motivation from the state government that has poured them to get that vital win against the Edo Queens. So for them, win your first 2 games is the round-robin encounter. The team that gets to win with the highest point margin wins the trophy and automatically qualifies. So every team is jostling for at the point, and after 2 games you need to play more 4 games. So for Rivers Angels, I think that it will be very dicey for them against Conference Queen today. But if Edo Queens can get that win, I don't see anything stopping them from also winning. What I expect the ladies to do is to just beef up themselves and hope pick more points. It doesn't matter how you play. What matters at this point is for you to just get to win and win in fine fashion against your opponent. But I think that it's been wonderful getting to see the ladies display. It tells that if we invest more in female football, we can get to see more glorious outing in female scene. And for me, the NWFL is living up to expectation. And of course, it will coronate with the NWFL award coming up this weekend, in Bayelsa State, which makes more sense to award those that have done very well, in the league and off the league.
Let's see how it goes this time around, but today we'll see some interesting fixtures as Nasarawa Amazons will lock horns against Rivers Angels. That game, of course, comes up today by 9 a.m. and Conference Queens will be national against Bayelsa Queens by 11 a.m. today. So it promises to be an exciting one in the Nigerian Women Football League Super 6 tournament. But let's take a look at the Federation Cup as we've seen the draws for the round 04, 32 all for the competition, and Bender Insurance, defending champions, they're defending champions of this particular one, and they're also looking set, to do something this time. They'll be looking also against Wiki Tourists in their first encounter. What do you make of Bender Insurance? It's not been so rosy for them this season in Nigerian Professional Football League. Do you think they have what it takes to defend the Federation Cup they won last time?
I think it will be a very dicey one for them. Dicey because they're paired against an MPFL side who also has vast experience of what it means to get their hands on the trophy. Now, the beauty of this trophy this time, unlike before, is it's a narrow way to being in the continent. So whoever wins it automatically qualifies, for the continent. And when you have the MPFL guys who are jostling to get their hands on this particular one, same with the guys from the second tier of club football, the NNL, you just know that everything is at stake, and that alone is a motivation because some clubs know for sure that on a norm it can be very difficult to get to the uppers of the Nigerian Premier Football League table, maybe to pick a point from pick a slot from that particular end. So the best is pick this one and move on. So every team comes into this particular one with heightened expectation, and the monetary involvement also. They just signed with the president. That means the office of the president funds, the FA Cup for this year. That is what it implies. And so, though we do not know the chunk amount of money that we do that to the winner, but we know that something big, will come at the end of the day. And I think that for Bender Insurance, yeah, they might have had a very poor season like we've seen in other climes. What matters is the way you end your season. The battled so hard last time. We were able to get something, but this time around we have seen a lot of the players who left the side, and I think that the best is for them to be motivated to stay focused and see where they can get this one. Because as it stands now, this is the only pathway. But they do not look like a convincing team for me to get their hands on this particular one. But like it's an MPFL clash. You cannot say until the
title they won last time. They'll be looking on to the endless side, talking about Wiki Tories in this one. That will be their first game in the round of 32. And there are other, some interesting fixtures as well, as we'll see Doma United against Kano Pillars, Casita United against Bayelsa United, Rivers United will lock ons against Niger Tornadoes, and Plateau United against Sunshine Stars. FC One Rockets will be national against Eyimba Football Club in the round of 32 fixture. Nasarawa United also lock ons against Sokoto United. Abia Royals will be national against Sporting Supreme, and Warri Wolves against Kwara United, and we'll see Alobi Stars against Shooting Stars. Some interesting fixtures down there in the round of 32 for the Federation Cup. But let's stay away from that, as Nigeria's men amputee football team, the Special Eagles, are through to the quarterfinals for the ongoing amputee AFCON in Egypt, following a comprehensive 11-0 to nil win over Burundi in their last group game yesterday. Striker Michael Joel was the star performer in the win, scoring 7 times, while Turkey-based Mohamed Grima scored a hat-trick plus another goal by Ola Bauchi, who made a light work for the newcomers. The big win sealed the top spot comfortably for the Special Eagles in Group A, and thanks to a superior goal difference ahead of host Egypt. The Egyptians had beaten Burundi 10-2 on Tuesday, following their goalless draw against Nigeria in the opening game last Saturday. Nigeria will face second-place team from Group B in the quarterfinals tomorrow, with Liberia looking set to finish behind Morocco in that group, depending on the outcome of the encounter, which is a late kickoff today. Now, 7 of the countries that progressed to the last 8 will make it to the 2026 Amputee World Cup in Morocco. Nigeria's best outing at the Nation Cup was a second-place finish at the 2019 edition in Angola, losing 2-0 to the hosts in the final. Well, let's stay away from that now to take a look at the WAFU big competition, as coach Manu Garba has reiterated that Nigeria's under-17 boys will go for a win in today's Group B final encounter in Accra, even though a draw will be good enough to seal the 5-time world champions through to the semi-final. What do you make of the coach of the under-17 side, Manu Garba, looking very much optimistic in getting a victory into this encounter?
Yeah, I think that they need it all. Even if they are having a destiny in their hands, but they're still hoping that if they get a draw, then they will be praying that something happens in the clash again, between Burkina Babes and the other team. But I think that the way they have gone about it, they've won 1, drawn 1, and they need to win today to qualify. Now, it's not about qualification; it's qualifying and not be paired against Ghana, because for them, Ghana are in a very formidable form right now, and you don't want to play them. And so, for Manu Garba, is win and maybe top the table, because if they top the table, they will be able to escape the wrath of Ghana at this stage, because the semi-finals, anything can happen. It's only the 2 teams that get to the final, that pick the sole ticket to represent the West African, or will be presented at the African Cup of Nations proper. So the fear is whatever happens to the game between Burkina Faso will impact heavily on our game. But I think that, like I said, go all out to win. When you win comfortably, it doesn't matter what happens in that game. And with the way it is now, I'm sure they will be motivated to get this particular one and then top the group.
Cup holders Golden Eaglets will finish top of the pie if they win against the Togolese at the Accra Sports Stadium, and follow-up group leaders Burkina Faso failed to get the better of Niger Republic. Victory for Nigeria and draw or defeat for the Burkina Babes will mean the Eaglets avoid informed Black Starlets of Ghana, who are expected to top Group A in the last four confrontation. Let's see how this one will go for the under-17 side of Nigeria today. But away from that, ahead of the preliminary rounds of the inter-club competition, the African Soccer governing body has given a deadline to member associations, including Nigeria. The African Football APES body has initially informed member associations that the preliminary round will commence in August 2024. According to the updates from CAF headquarters in Cairo, Egypt, the body has given the participating countries June 15th, 2024 as a deadline to submit the names of for the clubs that will represent them. Temple, what do you make of it? The Nigerian League, are they ready for this date?
They don't go back to their words, and I think that the onus, falls on the league now to prepare. We still have 6 matches to wrap up the season. We still have the FA, Cup that has not been concluded. So I'm just wondering how this will be achieved, because the deadline is from now to the next 3 weeks, and we need to provide 4 representatives, in the inter-club competition. So for me, I don't know how the MPFL board will go about it, but we hear that the league will resume this weekend. Maybe they're going to play matches 3 times in a week to meet up. But however, I still feel that it will be very tight for us, because except the clubs will have to suffer again, and that's because we give too much priority to Rivers United. And I think that seems to be the challenge. If other games have been going on and Rivers United have acclimatized, we would have been able to know that. But I've not seen any league where a game was halted because of a particular team. So maybe as part of the recommendation for next season is to look at modalities to see how they can blend Rivers United and ensure that all the teams that will participate at the continent, so that when they come back, we don't get to see this type of halt. It lowers the morale of the competition, and also make us to start thinking of alternative. Imagine that we do not meet up. What happens? We get to look at for the NFF, the MPFL, we now look at for subsidiary teams that will go and represent us, and that's why we're not doing so well at the interclub competition, at the level of CAF. So for me, I think that Stitch in Time says line. We need to be active. We need to know what to do and go about doing them in the right direction.
Let's see how it goes. We hope that there will be a means where the Nigerian League, of course, will be able to provide, the teams that will represent the league in the continent. But let's stay away from that. Let's take a look at the heroes, as Marcus Rashford paid for his poor season as the Manchester United was left out for England prize with the exclusion of Marcus Rashford from the squad list.
On the basis of merit, no. On the basis of impute with the national team, maybe. Merit, because we've always craved that every team, every coach should pick and select his players with that sentiment, and that's what Gareth Southgate did. Look at the players. I mean, it's difficult to really look at players that have done exceptionally well for, in the various clubs, at the expense of Marcus Rashford. He has played, I think he scored those 6 goals, in the number of times he plays this season. He's had very poor form. He himself even acknowledged the fact that he has not been in fine form this season. No thanks to the bad form of Manchester United, same. So I think that he does not deserve to be in that list. But as a player who has been part, maybe in other climes he would have been selected, because he has also imputed so much. But he's not the only one. I mean, what about Sancho, who of course is the mainstay of the team in the finals of the UEFA Champions League? We saw all that played out. So somehow one would just say, but I think getting to this point takes a lot of decision and thinking. And for me, I want to absorb, Gareth Southgate of the blames. I think that he has done so well. The player that he has selected, the 33-man squad, went trimmed down to 26. We'll get to see what they can offer. Any day, anytime, if you look at the squad, you know that it covers every phase of the team. And I hope that they will be able to, when trimmed down, we'll get to see those players that will not be part of it. But regardless of whosoever will not be part of the team, I think that Rashford should not make the list, as well as all those that were excluded. But for me, maybe Sancho would have been in the list, but I think that what will happen at the end of the day is to get to see a team that can get England win at least for the first time in 58 years. That should be the most important thing to think of.
All right, let's see how it goes. Big name players, of course, being opted out, from this one. The likes of Jordan Henderson, the likes of Reece James, who has spent, bulk of the season. The just concluded Premier League season, nursing injury, was excluded from this one. But so surprised that despite the exploits of Jordan Sancho with the Borussia Dortmund side, taking them to the UEFA Champions League after so many years, the man was excluded from this list.
Yeah, I think that Sancho, like I said, is one player who should not be excluded, because he's been, I think he's one of the most dribbler on statistics as it stands now. with the Borussia Dortmund side, and I think that he should be. He's the only player a lot of people have been reacting to as to his exclusion. I don't know why, but whichever be the case, let's get to see him, fine-tune his play. Don't also forget that somehow the fact that he never played for some part of the season with Manchester United would have also played a part in this particular one. But the Euros needs consistency. And when you look at the players from day one, because selection was based on consistency from day one of the club, injury concern and all that. And for Jadon Sancho, yes, he's been doing so well. But Gareth Southgate said, he was not part of this, the players that, played. He was not invited in the last game they played against Brazil, as well as in order. So I think that would have also halted him being part of these Euros. But for me, I feel that he should be. And but the coach knows best who he wants to play with, and maybe Jadon Sancho is not just on his mind this time.
I see talking about the heroes. Cristiano Ronaldo is likely to set a record after he was named in Portugal's 26-man 2024 squad video yesterday by coach Roberto Martinez. The 39-year-old five-time Ballon d'Or winner will be appearing in his 11th major international tournament. He played his first tournament, that was in 2004, and will be making a record 6 appearance at the men's continental championship. He collected a winner's medal in France in 2016, even though he went off injured after 25 minutes in the final of this one. Cristiano Ronaldo set to make his 11th appearance in this one. What do you make of the man this time around? 39 years of age and still firing.
Yeah, I think that it would be nice to get to see him. He's already broken a lot of records, especially goal scoring record and appearances at the international scene, and getting to play in Euros. And that's what I love about countries like Portugal. They respect an icon, and of course give him more time to really showcase his skill. Even if he's not the oldest in that particular squad, Pepe, who is plays for Benfica, he's been in fine form of FC Porto. He's been fine form with the side, and of course I will get to see how they pair. But Ronaldo is still very active. We saw what he did with his club there, and so it's expected that maybe he gets to showcase more. And the more he plays, the more he scores, the more record he creates, for himself in Euros, and of course the world at large.
All right, let's quickly bring you this one coming from the English Premier League, as we hear Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino has left the club by mutual consent after one season at Stamford Bridge. Pochettino, who is 52 years old, took charge of Chelsea on 1st of July, signing a 2-year contract with the option of a further 12 months. Now, the new time was under pressure after an underwhelming first half of the season, but a run of 5 successive wins to end the season ensured they finished 6th in the Premier League. Temple, what do you make of the departure of Mauricio Pochettino, just one season at Stamford Bridge?
I think that the period of not playing well and the period of debacle with Chelsea, resulted to what we are saying. Usually at the end of each season, clubs do what we call post-mortem, or post-examination of the performance of the season. And I think he's found one thing. He may not be the sole challenge with the club, but somehow he's a gaffer, and if blames comes in terms of performance, he takes the first shot. And that's what's also played out. But the good thing about this termination is there was a mutual consent. Don't forget, he signed a 2-year contract, and part of the clause was an extension of that contract. Now, what it implies is, if you sign a 2-year contract and after 1 year you are asked to exit by the employers, you have a severance fee, a form of compensation that needs to be paid. So I'm sure that has been knitted down to say, okay, leave. Bowling would have said, leave the club, but we're going to pay your severance fee, and that has been agreed. Otherwise, there won't be a mutual consent, and he has the right to take the matter up legally. But I think by mutual consent, it implies that all the loopholes have been fulfilled, and for him, maybe the money given to him is good enough. He already knew that his chance of staying, we begged for answers. But when you look at the last 6 games he played and he was able to get those results, one would have